Can you see? Okay. Hi. Sorry, I'm a little bit late getting started. I just got done with a TikTok live where I did this makeup look just for you guys. Because otherwise it looked like a goblin, and I don't want to subject you to that. So as you can see, we're in a bit of a different setting here, and I am surrounded by all kinds of mess. I am working on several different projects, one of which was had to do with $65 worth of tulle, and 14 spools. So like 14 spools of tulle. Spools of tulle. And what I made was, hold on. It's a tutu. So, let me try and adjust this so that you guys can see. But yeah, try not to step on big sharp things. It's a tutu. Like a big long tutu, big long rainbow tutu. And it took three layers of elastic, and again 14 spools of tulle. But I got it. I'm done, kind of. I need to figure out a way to kind of affix these to each other, and then I bought clasps that I also need to figure a way to affix it to, which is going to require me to try and figure out where my sewing kit is, which I'm not going to do on camera right now. There we go. Okay. But what I would like to do is I would like to make... Ooh, I'm too short. Okay, will that work? Okay. I would like to make a bow to go on the back. And I've got all this leftover tulle here. So much tulle. That's a different project, which I'll talk about in a bit. More tulle. So much tulle. Okay. All the tulle. And if you guys are interested at all in how I did that, just Google, like, on YouTube, just do a search for, like, tulle skirt. Like, no sew tulle skirt, and you'll get that. It's basically just you slip knot these little, like, strips of tulle onto the elastic band. So you kind of fold it in half, and then, like, here's the elastic, so you kind of, make a slip knot. Thusly. Right. And I think I'm gonna wear it with the green corset. I think that's what I'm gonna wear it. I know, it's so fluffy! I'm so excited! Let me get my hair off. Jesus. I was trying to let it dry before I put it in a bun. Because if I put it in a bun while it's still wet, it will never dry. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so like a bow, and I've never done a bow. I've never done that before. This is all very new to me. But we're gonna try and figure it out here on live in front of the entire world on the internet. So definitely want a rainbow bow, and I think probably the best way to go about doing is to gather like these strips, maybe 3 at a time. And then just once I have them like all gathered, tie it into a bow. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like that might work. And by the way, I do not purport to be, much like I don't purport to be anything other than just a fucking Joe Schmo who happens to have legal training. I do not purport to be any kind of crafty. I'm not crafty. I usually buy most of my stuff. How many is it? 1, 2, 3. That was 3. Okay. So there's 1. By the way, I did that skirt today. It took me like 4 hours because I had to, like, the 14 spools I had to cut into these. They're already like, oh geez, they're already strips. Like they come as these strips, but it's all one long strip. So I had to like cut them all into these little strips. And that took much time. It took a lot of time, but well worth it. Because now I have a gigantic, floofy, colorful skirt that I'll be wearing for the Pride Parade. That was what prompted making that skirt. Was in our little town, it's not really little anymore. It's gotten very big. We are big on Pride. We go all out for Pride. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to do that the past couple of years. But this year, Pride's back. And I wanted to make a huge statement by wearing a gigantic, basically rainbow ball gown. I believe I'm going to wear the green corset with it. I really like the shape of the green corset. And it's colorful and bright, much like the skirt. So I feel like that will work out well. I haven't tried it on with it yet because I have to figure out a way to clasp it to make it like clasp and stay. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3 of the light blue. Thank you. No, we went green. Green. I got real funny looks walking out of Joann Fabrics with 14 spools of rainbow tulle. Because all the people there, like that work there, are old. Now, all the young people that saw me walking out, they're like, "Oh, you're doing that for Pride. You're making a tulle skirt for Pride." I was like, "Bitch, how'd you know?" I guess who else walks out with 14 spools of rainbow tulle? If you are not making a skirt, I feel like that's really the only conclusion you can draw when you see somebody walking out of the store like that. Unless you're super creative. And I'll have to think about that a little bit more. But, okay, continuing. So I'm doing 3 strands of each color. And there are 7 colors in a rainbow. I probably did not get all the colors right. But these are the colors that they had available. So these are the colors that I'm using. All right, so like a green. We want yellow. This way. But yeah, how's you guys' weekend? We had a blast. What did we do? What did we do on Friday? I don't remember what we did on Friday. I think we just hung out on Friday. I don't remember what we did on Friday. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I didn't drink all that much on Friday. So I should remember what we did, but I don't. Yesterday, it was a shopping day. It was so much fun. We spent the entire day at the mall doing shopping therapy, and I got myself a gorgeous little green dress and new shoes. And the hubs got himself a really cool, super cool shirts. There was we found these linen. They're like these linen shirts. They're like shirts, but they had like hoods. So it almost looks like when you put them on, you look like Assassin's Creed. It's really, and that took all day. And then when we got back, we went downtown in our new digs and had some delicious food. I went back and I got another tattoo. So remember, the first one was like the little cat. Can you guys see the little cat? Well, she was lonely, so I got her a friend. Right there. I think last time I did my live, I explained like when I got the first cat, I didn't realize until I got home that she looks exactly like my cat, my fat cat. I've got a fat cat and I've got a skinny cat. And the first cat tattoo that I got looks like my skinny cat. I'm sorry, my fat cat. And I got home and I'm like, oh my God, I got a tattoo of my fat cat. I didn't get a tattoo of my skinny cat. My skinny cat's going to feel all like unwanted and we can't have that. So I had to go back and get my skinny cat. And that's what I did. And I'm really happy about it. I love them both. They're so cute. Now they are both forever memorialized on my body. My little cats, my little fur babies. How we doing? Slept through most of Friday. I mean, I don't blame you, Mr. Enigma. Like, I want to say I probably went to bed around 8 o'clock on Friday because I'm an old, curmudgeon-y, tired, grumpy old lady. But yeah, I don't blame you for that. That sucks. That sucks. I actually, now come to think of it, I also had to work on Saturday. We had our continuing education that the firm puts on kind of on a biannual basis, which is awesome, by the way. That means that we don't have to pay for it. The firm pays for it. It was really cool. There were a couple of appellate attorneys, one of which I love to death. She's amazing and probably one of the smartest people I know. And they put on this really great presentation about. I thought it was great. It was about Florida case law. You guys probably would kill yourselves because it was quite dry, very boring. But I got a lot of really great information out of it, so I'm glad I went. And it was like a 2 hour thing. It was like a 2 hour seminar kind of a thing. And then after that, we went shopping, and we went out and had fun. It was great. And then today, it's a very chill day. Today I did that, and I took my dog swimming. And wow, is that it? No, I need purple. Yeah, purple. And I did a live. And I have not done actually any new TikToks in quite a while. And that is because, one, I have not been really inspired to do much. But that changed recently. So now I've got what I think is a lot of cool stuff kind of come down the pipeline, like super interesting stuff. And I'll show you. This is part of it. And then I'll show you the other part of it. The last part of it is not, I don't have it yet. I'm waiting for it to be delivered. But I am not going to divulge. I want that to be a surprise for you guys. I'm not going to divulge that particular project. Other than to say, you know her. She is a character that I have done before. And she will be not significantly different. She will look different, but she will not be, like, her mannerisms will be the same. And I need to figure out a way to kind of transition what you guys know of as the old character into the newer character. But that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm sure you guys are very perceptive. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I have all this. So now I think we're just going to do just a regular ass bow. Just I can twist it. Maybe if I twist it, it'll be pretty. Get all the colors. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's really pretty. Because this is kind of like shiny tool. Okay. And pull it through. All right. Now, want some. I'm saying words. They're not. I mean, I guess no, they're not actually really words. They're more like sounds. Okay. I'm trying to get it like nice and tight without over pulling these little ears here. And I think that's about as good as we're gonna go. Okay. And now we floof. Floof, 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 floof. Floof, floof, floof. I want to get all those colors out so that it can all be seen. There we go. Oh, yeah, that turned out good. Oh, yay, I did something right. It happens every now and then that I do something right and I don't absolutely just completely muck it up. I'm going to pull that purple down a little bit. And there's my bow. There's my bow. I'm so excited. Okay. Ugh. Excuse me. Oh, man. I don't know if you guys heard that. Oof. I've been like crouched over like a little goblin for the better part of this today, so my back is not very happy about it. But there's my bow. And it's going to go on the back of the dress, or the back of the skirt, somehow. I'll find a way to affix it. Somehow. I'll show you guys. That is the current state of my room. That is a couch. Under that tool. And just, this is the state of the rest of the room. It's not in great shape. I'm not even going to show you guys the makeup table. It's deplorable. But I am going to get my cocktail. All right. I still have all this leftover tool. And I'm thinking, I don't know. What do you guys think? I am not talented enough to like affix it to a bodice. And I don't even know how I'd go about doing that. But it seems like a waste. All this pretty tulle. Maybe I can make like a, I don't know, like a headpiece, maybe? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Or I have an adorable little niece who is about yay tall, and I could probably make her own little tutu out of just what's ever left. Maybe. I'll take a sip of this. And show you this. So this came in today. I did not make this. And this will be part of Tess's. It's not a new costume. It's like I get bored with costumes a lot. Like I don't like using the same costume like for the same character like the whole time. As you guys I'm sure have noticed, both Tess's and Nine's kind of costumes have changed over time. Some bigger changes, some smaller changes, but this is going to be kind of a smaller-ish change. This is a bustle, and it is affixed thusly. So, oh my god, it's so cute. So, I'm really just going to add this to her existing costume. Look how cute. Oh. And I'm going to get rid of the pants. We're not doing pants anymore with Tess. I am over TikTok's taking my crap down for nudity, and I will risk it because I don't like how the pants look with her. So it will be no pants, but like I'll be wearing pants. It's just not going to be like jeans. The hot pants will be back, and I'll bring back the fishnets, and then this will be the bustle on the back. But otherwise, I think that's really it. And I'm planning on doing a kind of a cool comeback video with Tess and Nine. Perhaps some other historical characters that I have done in the past. To a song that I think you guys will remember. I'm really excited. I haven't started it yet because I was waiting on this thing to get here, and it only got here like a couple hours ago. But that is going to be my project for this week. That and finishing my rainbow gown. And also, let's see my third project. Hold on. Okay, so I've told you guys before, my mom is an extremely talented seamstress. And I showed you guys that wedding dress that I got from the Goodwill. Well, I took it to my mother, and she made it into a Regency ball gown because she is super tight. I've got so much tulle. This is the veil. Here's the veil. So much tulle. I couldn't be happier. I love it. Okay, so this is how it turned out. She fixed the bustle, which is great. It's still super long, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get it not to be that long. Because the idea is this is a Halloween costume, and I need to be able to walk around like outside downtown without it dragging, right? But, so the bustle is fixed, and the sleeves have been chopped. So now it's far more, I think, in keeping with the Regency style, because they had those shorter sleeves, and then they wear the gloves, the big long gloves. It's already got the Empire waist. And then it's also got that bustle. And usually, like, I feel like on Regency, the bustle would attach up kind of here-ish, up like right under the shoulder blades. That is not the case here. And that's fine with me. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's how I fix it. I just don't know how I go about bringing that bustle all the way up here. But yeah, so this is not going to stay white. This is going to be dyed a dusty pink. And then all I'll have to do is get pretty costume jewelry to go with it, and then that will be done. That will be my costume. I assume this is polyester. I assume this is not natural fiber. which means that I have to use a very particular kind of dye. Some, you call it Ritmore? I think Ritmore. I think it's called Ritmore. I tried that 3 times. 3 times I tried to say that and failed each time. And I guess like you have to bring the water that you are going to put the dye in up to like 200 degrees, which is real hot. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that. Because sure as shit, that dress is not going to fit in any kind of pot that I own that I can put on the stove. So I think what I'm probably going to have to do is like take a big pot of boiling water and walk it over to a bathtub and fill the bathtub with the boiling water. We'll see. Trial and error. I've never actually dyed anything in my life. I've just done research on it, and hopefully it works. Thankfully, that was only a $25 gown, so if I muck it up, then it's $25. I'm not gonna be mad about it. I will be mad about it. I'll be mad that I mucked it up. But anyway, all right. And actually, let's get this down a little bit. Okay, so I can read the comments without going off camera. Also, I am going to go off camera because I need my cocktail. Hey, Dan. Oh, yeah, it was so muggy today. Like, I feel like you walked outside and you needed a snorkel and a mask. Like, you could swim through the air. But, that's Florida in the summer for you. Not looking forward to it. Because, like, I like running. I do not have a gym membership. I used to. But not anymore. Because running on the treadmill is torturous. I hate running on the treadmill. But I love running outside. Except when it's, 98 degrees and 100% humidity. Then it gets dangerous. And I don't like that. So that means I have to, like, do my workout inside, which sucks. Yeah. Yeah, that's my back nowadays. That's all of my joints nowadays. Just snap, crackle, pop. Yeah. Ooh, I like that idea. Like braiding them all together into that is a phenomenal idea. See, that's why I do these lives, because you guys are smarter than me and you give me great ideas. That's awesome. That's a great idea. I will do that. As like a boa. Or I could just like cut them into like little tiny things and then like just tie them, like get like a string or something and like tie them so that it's like a floopy bow. A boa. See? Good afternoon, Paul. How are you? Hello, Pong Linus. I love that so much. I love those little things like that because I am not clever in any way, shape, or form, and oftentimes can't speak very well. One such clever thing that I greatly appreciate are the people that actually installed the vinyl wrap in my car. They are called Stunzeed, and the mascot is a squirrel. I will let you guys figure that out. Maybe I'll even give a prize to the person who figures it out first. But once I did figure it out, I was like, that is hilarious. And I love it. And I love that I have a sticker of Stunzeed on my car with a squirrel. It's great. Okay. Oh, okay. Michigan. I have been to Michigan like once in my life, I think. We went in 2011. I went with my mom and my aunts because they're all like big outdoor adventurer people. And we canoed the Boundary Waters, which was incredible, by the way. It was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, there was one point in the trip where we were, I forgot what it's called, portaging. I think it's called portaging, which is basically you're walking with your canoe. You're carrying your canoe over land so you can get to the next lake. And we did that, and we walked through this this wooded area, and there was like wild spearmint growing on the ground. And my aunt, one of my aunts, happens to be an organic chemist. Also one of the smartest people I know. And her husband is also scary smart. Like they are both just this like stupid smart, like scary smart. It's crazy. And I'm walking and I'm smelling. I'm like, man, something smells really familiar. Like I've smelled this before. And without skipping a beat, she goes, oh, it's spearmint. I was like, I didn't even describe what I was smelling. She's like, no, I know, but it's spearmint. I was like, what? So she knelt down, she picked a leaf, and she gave it to me, and she's like, here, just eat it. And I was like, oh my god, it's fucking spearmint. It's awesome. It's super cool. But when we got to the destination that we were portaging to, I think that was the correct word. It was in this shallow lake full of wild rice, which is so cool to me. Like as we were canoeing through this, and if you live in Florida, it kind of looks like sawgrass. It's just like this grass that's like growing out of this beautiful glass, like placid water. And as you're canoeing through the grass, the wild rice grains actually fall, like they get knocked and they fall into your boat. So by the end of the canoe trip, we came home and we must have had, I don't know, like a pound of wild rice among everybody. We didn't cook it, by the way, even though I wanted to. I was like, oh my god, we should totally cook this. They're like, don't do that. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I don't know, like the idea of like wild food is fascinating to me. In this day and age that we live in, where we can just go to this, like if we want food, we any food, regardless of whether or not it's in season, we just go to the grocery store. So the thought to me of just food growing wild is fascinating. I don't know why. Example, when we went to Greece. This was, how long ago was it? 15 years? 15 years? 15 years ago. Yeah. We went to Greece, myself and my friend from high school. And we went to Corfu, which is one of the barrier islands, like near the mainland. And we were trekking across the island to get to a particular hotel where we had met some Vikings. They were legit. They were actual Vikings. They were legit Vikings. So like we had met them in Italy, and they were the ones who were like, "Hey, come to Greece with us." And we're like, "Yeah, fuck it, we'll go to Greece with you." So we landed on one side of the island, and then we were trekking over to the other side of the island to go meet up with them. And during our trek, we came across several instances of wild food. Watermelon, cherries, mulberries, oranges. So many oranges everywhere. Goats, I suppose, if that's your thing. But it was so cool. And like we didn't pack any food, but what we did was we just ate wild cherries and wild mulberries and wild oranges, and we didn't touch the watermelon because there was only one, and it seemed to be on somebody else's property, so that would have been pretty shitty for us to do. But I mean, we like gorged ourselves on like delicious wild cherries and wild mulberries. It was the best time ever. All right, what we got? What's humidity? You don't want to know. You don't want to know. I like do not seek it out. I have been to California as well. Also a long time ago. 2009, 2010. We went to Fresno for the purpose of seeing the legendary redwoods, and it was. We don't have anything like that in Florida. I don't even. I'm at a lost word. I mean, like we're talking about a tree with a trunk the circumference of this room that I'm sitting in. Like incomprehensible. Just, I mean, there was this one specific spot, and I still have a picture in my phone that my mom took of me in this spot, and it was like a grassy area. Now, like from what I remember, these redwoods, I mean, it was just all tree. There was no like meadows or grass. It was just tree. But which is why like this particular picture was so striking to me. Area was so striking to me because it was like a meadowy kind of an area. And it was a meadowy kind of area because two of the gigantic redwoods had been chopped down back in like the early 1900s or something, like back before people realized that, oh, these are literally prehistoric trees that need to be protected. And what I thought was, like, I'm getting goosebumps. What I thought was so amazing was that nothing had grown in that area except grass. No new trees, no nothing. It was almost as if like the surrounding plant life was memorializing and giving deference to the two redwoods that had been chopped down. It was absolutely, it was silent. Like you couldn't hear birds. Like there were a couple butterflies maybe, but otherwise it was just like so still. So you really got the feeling like, oh my god, this is like I'm in a graveyard, like I'm in a cemetery. Like this is a memorial for these trees that have been cut down. It was just, it was really, 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 really cool. But like you are correct, Mr. Enigma. There is no humidity in California. There is none. It's the air is just fucking dry. Like I got a nosebleed every single day, and I aged like 5 years or something while I was there because here in Florida, I mean, you walk out and you're just like the air is humid, so you're nice and plump and glowy, and it's great for your skin, I suppose, not for anything else. But as far as like, would I take drier air over more humid air? I would probably go with the humidity. It's just like dry air for me, like it's hard to breathe. It fucks with your skin, gives you nosebleeds, which is not pleasant. But at the same time, like the humidity is gross. You can't go outside without being sticky. If you want your hair to be straight, no, I mean, kiss that goodbye. And there are, times of the year that if you cannot exercise outside without putting yourself in danger because it's so hot and so humid. And what the humidity does is, so, okay, as a human, right, you sweat. And the sweat, I hope that doesn't fall. The sweat is supposed to cool you down. And it's supposed to cool you down because the air around you is going to be drier, right, than the sweat that's on your skin. So it makes it feel cool. Problem is when it's really humid outside, you don't get that cooling effect because the air is about as wet as you are. So you overheat. Lots of people who travel down to Florida in the summer get heat stroke for for that reason, which is why people don't come down here in the summer. This is why they come down here in like the fall. But yeah, humidity sucks. What we got? Topic of the day. Not really one. It was going to be crafting. And I had anticipated like actually crafting on live. But I was like, I better just get all the tool cut before I start my live so that I'm not like just spending the entire live cutting tool. And I did, and it only took me like an hour. And then I was like, well, I'll do the first round and then I'll save the rest for live. And then I got into it and I finished it before live. So that was supposed to have been the topic for today. But since I finished it before we got onto the live, it's just me sitting on the floor in a very messy room with a cocktail and lots of rainbow tulle. This was completely unplanned. Usually I'm much better at this, but not today. All right, what else do we got? What happened this week? What did happen this week? Lots of exciting stuff I feel happened on Thursday. I'm trying to remember what it was that happened on Thursday. Oh, yes. What I've already discussed. The project that I will not spoil any longer. That most of that happened on Thursday. I ordered all of the things on Thursday. And well, here's something. I'm using my phone as a coaster. Don't do that. Don't do that. But one of the things that I ordered was a necklace. It was a beautiful necklace. It was like a black crystal, like bib necklace. So very regal, like really cool necklace. And it came in yesterday and was completely not at all what I ordered from Amazon. I was kind of mad about it, but I ended up ordering what I did want, and it's coming in tomorrow. But what's interesting, I don't know, like, have you guys ever had to return Amazon gifts? Were you aware that like one of the return options is you take whatever it is that you ordered off Amazon that you don't want to Whole Foods. Like I was like, is this right? Like if I just walk into Whole Foods with just like this costume jewelry and I'm just like, hey, take this back, they're gonna be like, yeah, this makes sense. I don't know. I thought it was weird. But yeah, obviously Amazon and Whole Foods are in fact partnered. So I guess it makes sense. But I was just like, really? You want me to take to Whole Foods? Not UPS, not FedEx, not USPS, Whole Foods. Yes. So yes. So if you want to return stuff on Amazon, apparently you go to Whole Foods. What we got? Let's see. To find this place and visit, I'm still exploring the state. Oh, awesome. All I can remember is that it was Fresno, and it was a federal park, I imagine, with redwoods in it. I don't remember. In fact, you know what? Let me see if I can actually find the photograph on my phone. So bear with me for a sec, you guys. I just don't know. I think it's on my Facebook. Yeah, because I didn't save it. It's not on my actual phone. So let me check Facebook real quick. Bear with me. I want to because I want to show you. It was such a beautiful like area. All right, let's see what we got. And this would have been just after I got onto Facebook. No, I don't want that. How do I get to my photos on Facebook? I swear to God, like Facebook. Okay, there we go. Okay. It's gonna take lots of scrolling. But as we're scrolling, I'll read the comments. All right. Oh my God, I'll bet. Yeah, no, like I don't. That was what? What just happened? Well, that's what happens when you do something and you're not looking at the thing that you're doing. Yes. So going to a theme park in the middle of dead ass summer, either in California or Florida, sounds absolutely miserable. Ugh. Would never. 1 out of 10 would not recommend. Oh, maybe I don't have it. Oh no. What happened to it? Yeah, I don't know where it is. I thought I had it on my Facebook, but I guess not. Let me just. Nope, I don't have it. I don't know where. Ooh, that sucks. That was a great picture. I'm sorry. I thought I had it, but it's beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. I really don't have it on my Facebook. I know I do. Now this is gonna bother me. Now I have to actually like look. Go to me. Go to photos. Maybe if I do uploads. Oh, that makes more sense. Okay, I'll bet you. Oh, this is gonna take way more scrolling. Oh my God. All right, I think I found it. I think it is in here. Yes, because this is where all the Ireland photos are. By the way, if you ever have a chance to go to Ireland, do it. It's an absolutely stunning, amazing country. Very green, which makes sense. Which is, I suppose, that's why it's called the Emerald Isle. But just absolutely, and the people are so nice, and the food is so good, and it's not that expensive to go. Like if you go far enough in advance, like plane tickets are like $400 or $500. Renting a car is about the same as it costs to rent a car here in the States, if not a little bit cheaper. Really, the most expensive thing that you're going to have to get over in Ireland is insurance for the car. Oh dear. I have gone far enough back in my Facebook photos to photographs that are embarrassing. This is hilarious. All right, let's see. We're getting there. Here we go. If you guys want to see like a huge trout that I caught, let's get. There we go. All right. Big trout. That was, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. Yeah. All right. So this seems like we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Maybe. Peacock. Yes. So while I was still living with my parents and attending law school, apparently somebody in our neighborhood has a peacock as a pet, and it got loose, and it was just kind of roaming around the front yard, and I took a picture of it because I was like studying or something, and I just saw this peacock randomly just walking in the neighborhood. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. All right, that was New Hampshire. This was when I first started TikTok. Oh, here we go. All right. So I'm being nostalgic with you guys, but I came across a photograph that you might be interested in seeing. This was before any of the tattoos. This was, what year was this? 2009. This is 2009. Are you guys ready for this shit? Here we go. 0 tattoos. No tattoos. That was I did a pinup shoot with Vivian Van Story, who has become an acclaimed pinup photographer on Instagram. Go check her out. She's amazing. But back when she was less acclaimed, I suppose, she graced us with her presence down in Central Florida. And I was like, oh, yes. And it was like a Groupon thing. I was like, yes, I'm going to do that. So I did. We were looking for California stuff. So let's look for more California stuff and see what we got. Oh, this was back when I used to like post my art on Facebook. Jesus Christ. Okay. Here we go. I found it. I found it. Hell yeah. All right. So this is one of the photographs. Like, look at the size of that tree. Like, incomprehensible. Just incredible. Okay, so here's the photograph that I was talking about. In this, just like this meadow in the middle of this forest. And this was 2011. So yeah, this was 2011. So this was 12 years ago. There you go. I don't know if you guys can. So that was the field. And you can see the darkness there. I mean, we're surrounded by trees, but this field is just grass. And it was so quiet. And like I'm trying to find bugs or butterflies. I don't even see any in this photograph. It was incredible. It was really, really, really an incredible trip. All right, let me see if I will catch up on the comments. Let's see what we got. Evaporative swamp coolers stop working. What is that? What is an evaporative swamp cooler? Now you gotta tell me. No, I am invested now. This is interesting. All right, let's see. So I shouldn't jog when it's no, don't do that. Don't do that. I've done that before and I've almost passed out. And it's not fun. It's not fun. So I highly recommend you don't do that. And like, I am a Florida native. I have lived in Florida my entire life. I have been running outside since 2006. Over 15 years. And I still don't do that. Don't do that. For sure. All right, what we got? Okay. Okay, David Richardson, what is your idea of really hot? I gotta know. Because you're over in England, right? And I'm not saying that it doesn't get hot over where you guys are, for sure. Just like if I say, I don't know, 65 degrees is cold down here, I don't want people to tell me, that's not cold. You've not experienced cold, so you've been up to South Dakota. I don't give a fuck about South Dakota. I give a fuck about Florida because that's where I live, and it is really cold when it gets into the 50s because of the humidity. Anyway, So I'm actually curious to know how cold it is or how hot it got up there. Childhood memories of Six Flags. Oh my God, in Houston. No, Dan. I was talking about the redwoods in California. I don't know if redwoods actually exist in Michigan. I could be wrong, but I was talking about California, specifically Fresno, California. Show the embarrassing. Okay. Hell yeah, I've been to Ireland. I mean, do you guys like want to see like old photographs of me? Like, I feel like I'd be like Marge Simpson's two sisters after like a vacation, and they're like forcing her to sit through this like slideshow of all these just really really boring photographs. But if you guys want to see them, I'm happy to show them to you for sure. Oh, okay, gotcha. That is a very big tree. Alternative to regular air conditioners that work by blowing air through water soaked. Oh, that's interesting. Swamp coolers. Are they portable, or are like would you install them as you would just a regular air conditioning? I've never heard of that. It's really interesting. There's been one redwood in Michigan. Couple brought ceilings from California. Oh, interesting. Oh, I think I've heard about that. That is actually really cool. I'm dry. I'm out of my cocktail. But yes, what time is it? 5:47. Okay. So yes, stuff and things. Very interesting, fun. Hopefully for you guys, things to come. I'm starting to get inspiration back, which is great because I think what happened was I was focusing more on work, which is not a bad thing. It had to be done. I had 2 trials that I had to get ready for, and then end up not going to. So I kind of like just the social media stuff kind of went on the back burner as I was prepping for trial. And in so doing, I've kind of when I get inspiration or to get inspiration, I will usually I'll peruse TikTok, I'll listen to music, maybe even like watching certain movies. I'll get inspired, but I just from February of this year to today, I just have not been doing that just because I've been so focused on prepping for trial. And it's like this is the first time in my career that I've had to do that. So it's kind of new to me. Just focusing so much on one particular. Well, I guess that's not true. Studying for the bar was similar. But just like now that I'm kind of out of the woods for the most part, when I look back, I'm like, what happened to those 2 months of my life? Like, it's basically like coming back to reality, I suppose, prepping for trial. And I guess that's true with anything that you really hyper focus on for an extended period of time. You just kind of like after you get out of it, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, the fuck? How long has that been there? Kind of thing. But I've gotten some what I think are interesting ideas, and I'm really excited to kind of bring them to fruition and share them with you guys. And I hope that you guys like them too. So there's that. But what was another thing that happened this week? Oh shit! I got to watch my boss perform at trial for the first time. That was really cool. My boss is super talented, very smart, kind of curmudgeon-y, but I mean, just an amazing boss. He's really, really, really just a great human being, and really good at what he does. He's been practicing longer than I've been alive. But he had this case where this older woman fell and hit the back of her head and claimed to have sustained a traumatic brain injury because of it. And so sued. So this was on a sidewalk. She sued her homeowners association to recover essentially medical costs and like past and present and future pain and suffering and all the stuff that goes with like negligence and personal injury cases that I am not particularly savvy to, because that's not the kind of law that I practice. But that was what I gathered from watching. I got to watch openings, and then I got to watch closings, and it was really cool. It was really neat. I'm really glad that I went. So openings were on Tuesday. So I just and by the way, guys, trial is almost 100% public. So anytime you have the wherewithal and interest and time to go watch a trial, do it. I mean, you can. It's public. You can just walk in and watch. How you find out what cases are going to trial or not, you can. That information is actually on your clerk's website. Usually they will have like a docket, and on that, a docket is essentially just a calendar. And on that docket, it will say, we're doing trial in this case on this day, and it will go for this many days. So I think they're fascinating. I really think they're fascinating. You get to see kind of the lawyers up there doing their thing. You kind of get to see the jury, see how the jury's reacting to it, see how the witnesses are reacting. I don't know. I just think it's neat. So we got to watch openings, and plaintiff goes first, and then the defendant. And we are the defendant. I am a defense counsel, so we are the defendant. We represent the defendant. So plaintiff got to go first. And when I tell you, I could not understand anything that this guy was saying. Like, I understood the words that were coming out of his mouth. And in some circumstances, I understood the order in which the words were coming out of this guy's mouth. But by and large, I was just like, I don't understand anything. And I thought it was just me because I don't practice that kind of law. I do property stuff. I don't do personal injury stuff. But in addition to myself, several other attorneys from our office came to watch. By the way, that is one of the reasons I love my firm, because everybody is super supportive of everybody else. So anytime there's like a big hearing or like a big trial and we've got time, we go watch. We go support our colleagues. And I really, really love that about our firm. So there must have been like 8 people from our law firm, our office, that particular office, there to watch my boss do the opening statement, which I was like, you guys, you're my family, you're great. I loved it. So anyway, so after he gave his opening, I guess it wasn't my boss that did the opening. It was one of my colleagues, an associate, who was, by the way, chef's kiss, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So after opening statements, everybody walked out into the hallway because they were breaking in order to get ready for the next witness to go on the stand. And before I could open my mouth, like 5 other attorneys who do practice that kind of law, like that's all they practice, were just like, did you understand what he was saying? Like, could you like follow where he was going with that? And they're like, no, that was the most awful opening statement I've ever seen. And I was just like, oh, cool. I'm not just a retard. He was actually just being completely incoherent in his opening statement. Because what he was doing was like, he had a whiteboard and he was like drawing a timeline, which is fine. We like, visual aids because I'm a very visual person. Like I need to see, stuff for the most part to understand it. Over and above like doing stuff to understand it. Like I need to see it first. So I think that I'm probably a visual learner over like a ear audio, whatever word you use to describe that. Or like a tactile, I guess, learner. But like he would like start a thought and then he'd stop it, go on a tangent, and then never get back to the thought that he started with. And it was he was so disjointed and so disorganized. It was so hard to keep up with what he was saying. I was just like, what are you trying to say? But when my colleague got up, and I call him my colleague, I actually had never met or seen him before that day because COVID and most people have been working from home. But he did chef's kiss. I mean, textbook Opening statement, that guy, the first words out of his mouth captured the jury, and you could see it. Like, you could, like, during plaintiff's opening statement, they were just kind of like, looking around, looking down. They weren't paying attention. But my colleague got up there, the first words out of his mouth, they were just like, oh, like super focused, hyper focused. It was so cool. And he kept them engaged. And I think that is one of the most important things you can do as a lawyer before a jury, is to keep them engaged. Because if they're not paying attention to your case, they're not going to have that information to be able to deliberate about back in the jury room, right? Like, if they've missed information, they're not going to be able to consider that back in the jury room. So it is essential to keep your jury members engaged throughout the course of the trial to the best of your ability. And one of the best ways to do that is to give an interesting and coherent opening statement, which is what the guy from our office was able to do. Now, I didn't watch any of the testimony. I have a job to do. I can't just sit there and watch trial for an entire week. But I did get to go back on Friday and watch closings, which my boss did do. So my colleague did, an associate did the opening, and his boss, my boss, did the closing. And the difference between the two, so the opening argument is really just you are introducing the jury to your case, to your side of the story. You're introducing the jury to how your client sees the facts and what your client thinks of the facts as they relate to the law. I mean, it's obviously your client probably doesn't think anything about the law because they're a layperson. It's you who's thinking about the law. But in terms of lawsuits, that's kind of that's what you have to say. The lawyers are just kind of like we're the techies. If you're thinking about a stage, like theater, your client is the actor, right? You are the techie. You make everything happen behind the scenes. Now, obviously, when you get to trial, you are the person that is presenting the case, and your client's just kind of sitting there watching. But for the most part, your client, that's the person, that's the party. You're just kind of pushing the case along. So the opening statement is supposed to be you are introducing the jury to your side of the story as your client sees it, and your interpretation of how the law should apply to the particular facts that your client sees. And the format in which you're supposed to present an opening statement is you're supposed to tell the jury about what they are about to see. So, for example, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you for being here today. My name is Gelioso. I'm here with my colleague, John Smith. We represent ABC Corporation in this lawsuit that has been filed against us by the plaintiffs, John and Jane Doe. So I've introduced myself, and then I'll say, so as you heard, plaintiff's counsel state earlier, this lawsuit arises from purported wind damage to Mr. and Mrs. Doe's roof. But as you will hear later on in this trial, that's not the case. You will hear testimony from Mr. Williams, who is an engineer, licensed engineer in the state of Florida. He's been an engineer for 40 years. You'll hear from him, and he'll tell you exactly what happened at the subject property, and it was not wind damage. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it was wear and tear. It's just what happens to an old roof. You'll hear testimony. You will see evidence establishing that wind could not have damaged this roof. So an opening statement is basically just you are prepping the jury for what they're about to experience in this trial. And you're framing it in a way that supports your case. You'll hear Mr. Williams testify that there is no way wind could have damaged this roof. You'll see evidence showing that this roof was in a deteriorated condition before the storm even occurred, right? A closing argument is you're summing up all that evidence that you told the jury that they were going to see during trial, and you're applying it to your argument. You're applying it to the law that is applicable to your case, right? So in a closing argument, you would say, Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's good to talk to you again. I wasn't able to talk to you throughout the entire trial, so it's good to finally be able to address you again face to face. Now, during the course of trial, you heard Mr. Williams say this, and then you heard the other side's expert say this. But then, remember, we asked him what his opinion was based on, and he wasn't able to give you any evidence, any data, any scientific, anything supporting his opinion. And you saw this, and you heard that, and you read that, and you saw this, and all of that supports our position. None of that information supports the other guys. So essentially what you're doing is you're summing up the evidence, and you're saying, in light of what you have seen, you cannot hold for anybody but my client, essentially, is a closing argument. So I would probably say a closing argument is more difficult to craft than an opening argument, because a closing argument you kind of have to do on the fly, right? Because like before you go into trial, and like all the rules and stuff that apply to trial and litigation and all that kind of stuff is all about no surprises. The law doesn't like surprises. The judiciary does not like surprises, which is why discovery rules are so very liberally construed in most states, because the judicial branch favors truth and information. They want everything out on the table. They want all the cards out on the table, and then the parties have to discuss, what they think about the cards and how the law applies to said cards. So at trial, the idea is that you don't go in thinking that you're going to be surprised about something. You go in knowing everything that is going to occur, right? Both sides know what each side is going to argue. Both sides know what each side is going to present as evidence. And both sides, for the most part, know what the witnesses are going to say on the stand. Now, obviously, that is almost never the case. Like something happens during trial. There's always something that happens during trial that neither party anticipated. So a closing argument, you kind of have to make it on the fly. Like an opening argument, with the two trials that I did, I spent weeks crafting opening arguments. Weeks. A closing argument, you can't do that. You can do like a very rough kind of like scaffolding, I suppose, for a closing argument. But you're not going to know what you're going to argue until after trial, until after all of the witnesses have gone on, until after both parties have rested their cases. At that point, you will know exactly what it is that you're going to argue on your closing. And that is extremely stressful. That is extremely stressful, to, at least for me, to not be able to have that time to prepare and craft an argument, to just like come out with it on the fly. And I think that probably bespeaks the level of experience, and probably is the reason why he would not let me do a closing argument, because I don't have the experience to be able to just come up with an argument on the fly. But yeah, so I got to watch my boss do a closing argument, and he did a phenomenal job. I don't understand a lot of things about personal injury lawsuits or third-party liability lawsuits, which is what this was. And he was able to explain it in a way that I could understand. But that's his job, right? His job is to explain the things in a way that people who don't have legal training can understand. He did a very good job. So it was awesome. All right, let me catch up on some comments here. Ow! And stretch my legs out. Because I'm old and my knees. Ouch! Okay. All right. So many. Big tree, yes, big tree. 75. Mr. Richardson, here in Florida, is a fall day. It is an early spring day, 75 degrees as a high. That's like, I wear a sweater out in that weather. Today, how hot was it today? Probably not that bad. That's not that bad. The high today was 94 degrees. That's not that bad. Sometimes it gets up like over 100, and like when the humidity is 100%, that's dangerous. But 94 degrees, that's not bad. And it was nice and breezy today, so it wasn't terrible. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Dan says you can get these swamp, basically air conditioners, either way with central HVAC systems. Often add evaporative coolants. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. That's interesting. This is true. Mr. Enigma says, hard to activate the artistic brain when the analytical brain has to take the driver's seat. 100%. Oh my God. Yes, 100%. Thank you. All right. When I was working as a paralegal. Oh, holy cow. You were a paralegal? You're not a paralegal anymore? I'm sorry for that. Being a paralegal sucks. Being a lawyer sucks. Being a paralegal sucks. Being a legal assistant sucks. It all sucks. I'm just telling the truth. I mean, it's satisfying, it's challenging, and all the good stuff, but it's so stressful. It fucking sucks. Okay. Yes, that my firm is incredible. It's just I mean, there's a reason that I've been there for the past 5 years. I really like it, and I haven't found reason to move elsewhere. Okay. Dan Sherman, me too. I get yelled at it. Yelled at for it sometimes when I'll see. He says I often go off on tangents. Yes, correct. I do too. And what I have learned to do is I have learned to guide people that I'm talking to through my tangents. So like I recognize that I'm about to go on a tangent, and I warn them about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to go off on a tangent. I promise it won't take long. I promise it's relevant to the story that I'm telling. Here we go. This guy didn't do that. He just stopped his thought and like went off on a tangent and then never came back to the original thought. It was so hard to follow. And like, it didn't help that he was like, he would have these super long pauses. Sometimes I feel like he was doing it like for a dramatic sense, but it ended up being just like super awkward. Like there was this one part where he paused and like he paused in a point where there should not have been a dramatic pause. It was just, he was just moving from one sentence to another. It was really weird. And he paused and he looked at the jury like this. And then he continued, and I was just like, what? I feel like violated. Like what? Ew. Like ew. He was not good. He was not good. Okay. Team Johnny, hell yeah. I don't know. I think that trial has concluded. I think they're done. I don't know what the verdict is though. I feel like it would be a huge news story about the verdict. And I haven't seen anything, so I feel like a verdict has not been rendered yet in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. I do, however, know that Amber Heard crashed and burned spectacularly. It was so embarrassing. Like, I was embarrassed for her. Not great. Not great for her. Good for Johnny. Not for her. Okay. Skip down as we got. That's true. I have hiccups. That's uncomfortable. Oof. Is it really? Mr. Richardson, isn't it like 94 degrees, like 100%? That's your summer? Seriously? Golly. Well, like that far up north? Really? I mean, I've never been to England in the summer. I've never been up north in the summer. I've only been down south in the swamp in the summer, and it is not pleasant. All right. Right. Okay, guys. So I'm just out of things to talk about, and my knees hurt, and I want to try and get this room cleaned up before we make dinner plans. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. And I'm so sorry. It's been so completely disorganized, this live. I had a plan. The plan did not work out, and so I came up with this. And I hope it was at least entertaining. I hope you at least liked all the floofy tool and stuff, and I hope you at least got something out of it. I promise next live is going to be a little more organized, a little less disjointed. And hopefully next week I will have all the things I need for that particular project that I was talking about. And I'll get to show you. So I'm really excited about that. But in the meantime, as always, if you guys have anything that you'd like to see or any topic that you want me to comment on, any topic that you'd like me to talk about, anything you want to know, it could be anything. It could be, I don't know. What were your interests as a child? What were your hobbies as a child? What do you do in your career? Anything, literally anything. Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know on Patreon. Let me know anywhere that I am on some sort of social media platform. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anything. And I'm happy to do it. But yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I'm excited about the Tuesday photo dump. I think that's gonna be real cute. I'll have to put something together for next week because I am out of photographs, so I'll have to do something. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Okay.